Hello, everybody. Welcome into Gamer Tuesday here on the Computer America Show. It's a little pre-show here, and our Gamer Tuesday is brought to you by Intel, and the official sponsor of Computer America, our Gamer Tuesday program. We've got a terrific show planned for you. In the second hour, DJ Particle is going to be joining us. For those of you who don't know, DJ Particle is an openly lesbian comedy and satire music DJ and performer. She builds.
So there's a lot there to digest.
Yeah, riocidal lesbian parodist. That's how she builds herself. Anyway, she's gonna be joining us in the second hour, and in the first hour, we have ViewSonic here, talking about their line of gamer monitors. So this is going to be really interesting. ViewSonic could go
1 minute until showtime.
Venerable company for over 30 years. So sit back and relax. Enjoy 2 hours of the Computer America Show, starting about less than a minute.
It's a long minute.
Yeah, it is. We were just talking about AlphaGo beating the World Go.
Lee Sedol.
Yeah, Lee Sedol. Right. He won one game. We were hoping he'd win another one, but nope. It was
almost a blowout.
4-1. Yeah, exactly. Okay, 20 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it is a Gamer Tuesday show. Yes, we dedicate the entire show to the topic of games and just having fun here on the program. And that's what it's all about. And today's Gamer Tuesday show, okay, is brought to you by Intel. This week, as many of you know, is the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. Intel will be providing a glimpse of future gaming experiences, from virtual reality to Intel RealSense-enabled features, showing new hardware and discussing the importance of diversity and inclusion in the gaming community. It's no surprise that Intel is taking a serious spot on the GDC show floor, as they have been focusing on the gaming community for some time now. The launch of the K-SKU in August, their overclockable 6th-generation core processor is just one example. Now, if you are at the Game Developers Conference, please make sure you head over to Intel's booth and check it out. Okay, so that's all happening. And so we have a terrific show planned for you today. In the second hour of the show, we're going to be visited by DJ Particle. And DJ Particle is an openly lesbian comedy and satire music DJ and performer who bills herself as the riocidal lesbian parodist. She's been the host of the Revenge of the Particle and Mad Music Dementia Top 20 Streamcast. She's going to be joining us here in the second hour of the show. And in the first hour, we're going to be joined by ViewSonic. ViewSonic is here. We're going to be talking about their multimedia entertainment and gaming monitors. ViewSonic's been around for a very long time, almost 30 years. We have the product marketing manager here. Victor Lamb is going to be joining us as well. If you have a question for us, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. Or if you don't want to go on the air, but you still have a question, head over to our website at computeramerica.com. Any page. In the upper right-hand corner, it'll say "Submit a question." Just click on it. It's a link, and
A lick.
a link, and it will.
I'm just picturing half our audience going up and like, so now you have to lick the computer. That's interesting.
It is. It's that new interactive feature we've added.
I think Apple ran out of things to do with the Force Touch and two-finger swiping and that kind of thing. So like, you know what? We need to bring in the tongue on this one. We're running out of shortcuts.
Yes, and licking it will certainly do it. But there is a link there as well. If you click on it, it'll take you to our question submission page where you can type into your question and click the submit button. Ben and I will see it, and we'll act accordingly upon whatever it is you type to us. The other thing you can do, of course, is you can also watch the Computer America show. We are a radio broadcast, but we also provide live video streaming. Hey, it's the 21st century. We decided to do it, and we've been doing it for quite some time. Just to, again, head over to any page at computeramerica.com. On the menu bar, you'll see it says Show Lounge. Click on it, and you'll be instantly teleported, tongue and all, to our live video streaming page where you can see the show. You can see myself. You can see Ben. Sometimes you can see the guest. In this particular case, Ben also has the technology to display websites, videos, movies, links. He can do all of that. So it just makes for a more interactive experience. So head over to computeramerica.com, the internet home of our radio broadcast, and you can find out all the things that we're doing here on the show. You just bookmark it. It should be your homepage. That's it. Okay, so that said, anything else you want to mention before we... Oh, good grief. We lost our guest. He dropped off. I need to redial him again. So let me get him back.
Yeah, the guest is actually quite crucial.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. Stand by. All right. So we lost him, but I think we got him back.
Yeah, the guest quite a crucial part of this whole thing. It just falls down around our ears.
Yeah, exactly. So we have him back. Anyway, our guest today is in the first hour is from ViewSonic, and if you want to experience the best informant function for entertainment and gaming, you should be thinking about ViewSonic. Whether you're a serious gamer, sports fan, or movie enthusiast, ViewSonic's multimedia entertainment and gaming monitors will immerse you in the action with stunning color and crystal clear, blur-free images. Isn't that cool? Now, here with us to tell you about the latest gaming monitors from ViewSonic is Victor Lamb. He is ViewSonic's product marketing manager. Victor, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Good. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, so we don't know what happened there. I went to look at the board and you were gone. Poof. So
yeah, it dropped off.
Yeah. Well, anyway, welcome back.
Difficulties, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's fine. So for most of our listeners know about ViewSonic, but why don't you tell us a little bit about the company itself? So in case they have any questions, give us a little bit of the background about the company.
Sure. So ViewSonic, we're a professional display solution company. We've been around for close to 30 years, and our existing portfolio consists of monitors, projectors, large format displays, some smart displays, as well as thin and zero clients. So we've really been around since the CRT days, and the one big thing is we pride ourselves in the product quality of the stuff we bring out to the market.
Yeah, no, I know the company has been around for a very, very. I think my first green phosphor monitor was a ViewSonic. I don't know, it's going way back, but yeah, the company has been around for, as you say, about 30 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost 30 years.
So now, again, you make a wide variety of different products, and if you go to the ViewSonic website, you can see some of the different. Things that different products. You have monitors, you have projectors, desktop virtualization products, commercial displays, this type of thing. But we're going to kind of focus pretty much on at least the gaming monitors. Why should someone consider a ViewSonic monitor? What are some of the things what's unique about these new the gaming monitors we're going to be talking about today?
Sure. So during CES, we launched our XG lineup of gaming monitors, and the big thing that gamers should consider, especially with ViewSonic gaming monitors, is we offer a complete portfolio of different products available to them. So the revolving theme around our gaming monitors is they all feature a technology called variable refresh rate. So currently in our XG portfolio, we have AMD FreeSync technology, and what that helps is give gamers a better tear-free visual. And within the portfolio, you have gaming monitors suitable for all types of gamers, whether you're an FPS type gamer, a mobile type gamer, or you're a professional hardcore gamer ranging to a weekend warrior. It's all there for you.
All right, exactly. So so this is not, but this is a new venture for ViewSonic, getting into these gaming class monitors.
Correct.
Okay, and
oh, go ahead.
okay.
Well, no, and I'm kind of curious because gaming has definitely it's been a part of my life for the past 15, 16, 17 going on years. But a lot of these companies, like, it seemed like the big interest a couple years ago was, how do we get into the corporate world, and how do we get people to switch out their work monitors and things like that with our monitors, because they were really going for people sit at their computer for so many X hours a day, so why not get a good visual experience? But it seems like lately a lot of companies are flocking to the idea that they want to not corner the market, but let's get tap into the market of the gamer. Why has the gamer kind of become a such a sought after demographic lately for all these companies?
Let me back up a little. So ViewSonic, in the past, we've actually entered the gaming monitor with, we were one of the first to introduce fast response time as one of a key feature for the gaming monitor. But as time progressed, we're always on the lookout for emerging technologies. So for the gaming segment right now, what we see is we want to enter the market with really good products for the customers we're serving. And right now we see the opportunity because right now there's key technology advancements within the panel itself that enables us to bring really good products to the market. So one thing I touched upon earlier was the variable refresh rate. And the second thing was the high refresh rates and low response times. So those are all key technological features that got developed recently, and we've worked closely with AMD and NVIDIA to determine some of the best technologies that they're utilizing within their GPUs to really bring to market something that we think will be highly sought after within the very educated and tech-savvy gamer segments.
That's definitely true, and it's good to hear that you acknowledge that. I mean, not every gamer is works in IT and all that kind of thing. Gamers run the gamut, as I'm sure you know, but they definitely do know that a monitor is more than just, let's see, is it 21, 24, 18, 16 inches? They definitely know that what makes a good monitor is everything you were listing there and then some, and especially compatibility with, does it work with my equipment? So how closely have you been working with AMD and NVIDIA? Because I know that each has their own, as you said, I think it was like FreeSync and G-Sync. Did you kind of, how closely have you been working with them? Like, is this like any later AMD and NVIDIA graphics card is going to work perfectly with a ViewSonic monitor?
With regards to AMD and NVIDIA, they have a support in which their series will work with the gaming monitors to enable the FreeSync technology for AMD and G-Sync for NVIDIA. There's a certain series in which you have to look at in order for that to happen, but almost all of their latest graphics card can support this variable refresh rate technology. And we keep evaluating. Later in the summer of this year, we're actually releasing a NVIDIA G-Sync 27-inch QHD gaming monitor, which we're working with them to look at even increasing the existing refresh rates on the panel. So they're assessing, and then we're closely working with them to make sure what we bring out to the market is the latest and greatest.
Now, Victor, I'm going to ask you to back up a little bit more here, because we're using some terms, and you and I both know what they are, and Ben does, but and I'm sure most of
I really don't. I just kind of fake it, and it's working. So yay.
But explain to our listeners what is so important about refresh rate. What is refresh rate actually, and can we get
And
into
how are people going to spot a poor refresh rate or poor syncing?
how does it manifest itself as being poor or as being excellent quality? Let's talk a little bit about the technology itself.
Sure. So there's two folds to this. There's one thing that's refresh rate, which we're talking about now, and then there's a variable refresh rate, which I'll touch upon later. So first with refresh rate, essentially what refresh rate measures, it's the speed in which the monitor can draw and display images, and that's measured in hertz. And in other words, you can think of it as frames per second. So a typical monitor that general consumers use are 60 hertz. So what that means, they have it draws 60 frames per second. So a fun fact, movies and TV programs that are filmed, they're filmed in 24 frames per second. So they're actually fairly low, but the human eye, the effects of moving picture, essentially still images put in sequence, right? But when it comes to gaming monitors, it's a very different nature, in the sense a lot of the modern day graphics card can produce up to 140 frames, 144 frames, 165. So it's already outpacing the panel limitation, in which it only can draw at 60 frames per second. So essentially you want higher refresh rate because you can generate more frames per second. So you get smoother screen performance. So if you are a big FPS player, first-person shooter game type like Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, then you'll see for the professional gamers that we've tested our monitors on, they can immediately spot the difference between a 60 hertz panel and a 144 hertz, because they can see the screen being kind of jaggedy and not very smooth. So that's one thing the gamers definitely need to look out for.
Okay. Let me again clearing up some nomenclature, some older concepts. I remember when I was studying this technology, one of the things I first heard I said was the magic number 24 frames per second, and that was with when you got the film, and when you were talking about 24 frames, that's the limit, the slowest amount of frames per second on a piece of film, where the eye would not be able to discern, from going from one frame to the next. You get very smooth motion on film. Why hasn't that translated over to video games? I mean, why would we have to get such higher frame rates? 20 than 24, or 36. Now we're in the hundreds. I mean, why are we comparing apples to oranges? It's not really the same thing, or is it what's going?
Are gamers a more advanced form of human?
Yeah.
Essentially, the way the minimum threshold in which a game is playable is actually at 30 frames per second.
30
and
frames.
At that level,
okay.
At that level, you can actually tell a big difference when it dips below that. The image visuals get very jaggedy. Games are much more fast-paced, and details get lost in between when there's not enough frames to populate the sequences. So you want as many frames as possible. So a lot of the very demanding games nowadays, that's why you see a lot of even your listeners, they might have multiple GPU setups in which within their PC system build, they would put 2 graphics cards instead of just one, because they're trying to achieve that higher frame rate count on their games.
Okay, so
yeah, that's definitely a feature that we're seeing more and more, even in mid-range gaming computer builds, is where you take instead of having just one very powerful graphics card, you'll have 2 mid-range or upper mid-range. And like 2 and even the upper end, like I'm pretty sure like a Titan X currently is like I think one of the highest for NVIDIA, and I'm sorry about AMD, I'm not too familiar with them, I'm an NVIDIA guy, but for reasonable performance comparison, you can get like 2, I think it's like a GTX 980i's or 970i's, and put 2 of them in, costs you about $300 less. But you get comparable performance with the one. So multiple GPU setups are definitely becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
it's a trend within the gamers.
So now is there a point of no return? I mean, after your third video card, it doesn't matter if you had a 4th or a 5th, or are they stacked?
Most cases don't have room for that many, but who knows?
There's like diminishing return once you go probably beyond 3. For even a hardcore gamer, at that point you're really a hardcore enthusiast in which you're trying to overclock and achieve like using liquid cooling and stuff like that. So two is probably the best number for any of us.
And you know, but it always, and of course, hardware. I always used to learn that hardware, it was easier to develop software before new hardware. The software was easier to come out with the hardware. And it seems that the software, the games keep, and they always have in the past, and they continue to do this, keep pushing the threshold of hardware limitations. Games really what challenge the hardware configurations. It's not word processing, okay? It's games. And that seems to be continuing even in this generation. Are we going to? It seems that every time they come out with a new piece of hardware, then they write software that's good, that has even more capability than the hardware is capable of rendering. Are we going to reach a point? You know, are we going to get to a sweet spot? You know, where it really doesn't make any sense that now we have the hardware and we have the software that can do everything, all the shading, everything you could possibly imagine. It can do it, and you have some elbow room. Are we ever going to get to that point, or is it just going to get more and more and more? What's your thoughts on that, Victor?
As it stands now, the sweet spot really for a nice gaming setup is at QHD resolution, so 2560 by 1440. But going back to essentially, as resolutions, monitor displays are pushing the limit as well. And right now, we're sort of seeing the tipping point in which your hardware has caught up and maybe even outpaced your game or softwares that are out there on the market. A good example would be QHD panels, as well as 4K UHD gaming displays. So for 4K UHD gaming displays, what Ben just alluded to, there's a Titan X. It's an NVIDIA graphic card that retails for approximately $1,000. And the 4K UHD displays right now on the market, the gaming monitor we have, it does 60 hertz, so 60 frames per second. And in order for you to really have any modern AAA game titles to do that, you're essentially maxing out that $1,000 graphics card. And it's not very conceivable for the general consumer to really do that. So right now, as it stands, there is that tipping point in which some gaming displays are outpacing what the software can do, unless you have a lot of money to throw at the gaming rig and build out like a $5,000 PC.
Wow.
Yeah. But you know, just from a personal standpoint, I'm seeing more and more of those, and I think it's really exciting when you say that, you know, there are game monitors that you need to build multi-$1,000 computer rigs for, because you know that's the cool stuff. You know, people don't talk about, you know, my Honda Civic. They talk about, you know, the old Mustangs and you know, the old and you know, the new Bugattis, whatnot. Like the stuff that really makes you excited is the very, very high end stuff, and it's good to hear that ViewSonic is definitely, you know, catering to those as well.
But is ViewSonic keeping it within the pricing within reason that consumers can afford these things, or is this going to only be for the gamer, you know, elite with the deep pockets? How are you establishing the pricing for these products, Victor?
For our particular XG series, there is a bit of a premium to those particular products because they do have extremely high refresh rates in the 01 series, and the 4K is a 4K panel. So naturally, it's priced slightly higher, but it's priced extremely competitive against what's out there on the market. And as a secondary option to expanding our gaming portfolio, we also have our VX57 gaming monitors. Those act as both entertainment and gaming. The big thing about those is they feature AMD's AMD FreeSync technology. So on those ones, you're looking at a 22-inch starting at $150 street price, and a 27-inch going to somewhere around $240. So those are much more obtainable, and they can definitely cater to the people who are not the hardcore gamers but really need something very great for home, playing games or watching movies or general web browsing.
So these monitors that are coming from ViewSonic are specifically designed because the cards, the gaming graphics cards you're describing, have certain abilities, but you'll only see those abilities represented on monitors that can interpret what those gaming cards are sending out to them, such as the variable refresh rates and some of these other features. Is that correct?
Yes. So with AMD, they have their AMD FreeSync technology, and NVIDIA with their respected G-Sync. So to leverage that technology, you need a compatible gaming monitor. As it stands now, our portfolio consists of the FreeSync, but we're launching during the summertime our G-Sync QHD 27-inch version.
So talk to
That
me.
one we're.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
So talk to me a little bit, and we'll get to that. But talk to me a little bit about the FreeSync technology that is now appearing that your monitors can interpret. In other words, these graphic cards are sending these signals out, and your monitors will understand what it is that they're saying.
Like, is it just a steadier frames per second? Because whenever you play video games, and you let's say you get a constant 60, despite what people say, you can't tell anything under 30. You're gonna know when it goes from 60 to 35 or 60 to 40. Does this FreeSync kind of keep it, more steady throughout the game experience? What does it actually do?
So essentially what this technology does, it gives you, it eliminates an issue called tearing. So to understand this, as we mentioned earlier, monitors typically refresh at a fixed interval, like 60 frames for 60 hertz. And as you go into the gaming monitors, you might look at 144 hertz or even beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is your monitor only updates itself at a fixed interval, but your graphics card within your PC, it's random, it's updating at a variable rate, in which when the signals are sent out to the monitor, it's interpreting it as it comes. So you have an effect where, imagine a screen, right through the center, there's a split line, and then they're not synced up properly. So if your person is a soldier, then the soldier's body is going to be on one side of the screen and probably split to another side.
Ugh.
And that's when you pause the screen and you'll see that artifact. And that's very distracting for a gamer.
Yeah,
So
you would think so.
AMD's technology does. So what they do is they allow the graphics card to communicate effectively with the monitor itself. That's enabled, and it eliminates this problem.
So you don't see half a character on one side and half a character on the other, split apart.
Yeah.
And this technology has been around for about what? How long? And your monitors are now supporting this FreeSync technology.
Mm-hmm. This was announced 2 years ago by AMD at CES,
Mm-hmm.
and then early this year, we launched the AMD compatible gaming monitors.
Yeah, you see again, and this goes to my point. Now, it's hardware. It takes a while to develop hardware. I mean, to get it up, to get them compatible. Although in this case, it's not necessarily the software or the game. It's really the hardware matching the other peripheral hardware. So they're developing these gaming video graphics cards, and the monitors out there aren't hearing what it is that they're supposed to be, what they're trying to do, which is the FreeSync technology. So ViewSonic has come out with this line of monitors that will see this, understands what's going on, and you, the gamer or the end user, are going to experience a lot more visually pleasing experience when you're playing the game or doing whatever it is you're doing.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess, so if I would ask you the question, how is ViewSonic going about setting it apart from other gaming monitors? Because other gaming monitors, I assume, are also doing something similar. I mean,
yeah, and we were actually out at CES, and I actually had a chance to stop by the ViewSonic booth, and you guys had a lot of monitors set up, very, very cool stuff. But I got to be honest, there were dozens upon dozens of other companies out there showing off also really awesome looking monitors. So to say that your competition is lacking, it would be an understatement. But I guess, yeah. How do you set yourself apart in such a competitive field?
One thing I would definitely say is the depth in which we're offering our products. We have resolutions ranging from 1080p going all the way to 4K UHD.
Okay.
So we're rolling out a complete portfolio in which when the customer wants to look at our products, they can see something that fits for every single game type they play or whatever budget they're within. So we are offering a complete solution. And the second thing is we've been around for so long, and one of the key factors that has kept us very competitive and performing very well against other monitor manufacturers is our quality. We stand by our quality, and that's one thing that repeating customers that come back to us understand, that all the products we put out onto the market are built rock solid. They never really run into any issues with the products, and we stand by our warranties for sure.
And what kind of warranties do you offer for these gaming monitors? What kind of warranties come with them?
We currently offer 3 years warranty, manufacturer warranty on these.
That's excellent.
That's longer than I think a lot of people keep their graphics cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if I would ask you the question, why should gamers pick ViewSonic monitors? That would be the answer. Is that they're rock solid. They have the terrific warranties. Are the gaming monitors? Yeah, go ahead.
And they'll find within the game types they play. I'm not sure if, Ben, you're a particular MOBA type player or RTS, but when you look at within our current existing XG lineup, you'll find something that definitely fits your need and can help you improve your game and stay competitive against your friends.
Competitive is definitely a big point, because I saw on your website that Smite seems to be taking up a lot of stuff, and I've lost a few good friends to Smite. More of a League of Legends player myself, but and I'm kind of interested how you can kind of tell the difference between I have a pretty generic monitor, but how would something like a ViewSonic help me in a very specific kind of game? I was playing like StarCraft 2, which is real-time strategy. How are these monitors kind of helping me in that? Because I know that extreme accuracy for a real-time strategy and extreme reaction time is important for MOBAs, but is that what ViewSonic kind of delivers?
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's wait on the answer to that question. When we come back, Victor, I'd like you to answer Ben on that point. You're listening to the Computer America Show. Ben and I are talking to Victor Lamb. He is ViewSonic's product marketing manager. We have a new statistical review from Marty Winston coming up as well. This is the Computer America Show. We'll be right back with ViewSonics.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Do your parents know you're listening? I'm Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Bestech 300-watt inverter. It's the kind of thing you plug into a vehicle's 12-volt accessory socket to get 110 volts AC at a familiar 3-prong power outlet. It has some nice features, starting with a pair of USB charging ports that can deliver up to 2.4 amps right next to its 2 AC outlets on the business end of a finned aluminum case with a small cooling fan on the far side. Its built-in protection covers things like low input voltage, high output current, output short circuits, and so on. It takes about 3 seconds to come up to spec, so it's a good idea to count to 3 before plugging in or turning on your gear. Bottom line, the new Bestech 300-watt inverter gives you the power to go out and about without doing without outlets.
Yeah.
Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thank you, Marty Winston, for that news tip bulletin review. Yeah, you'll be hearing that one all week long, and he has really great reviews because as you know, for the past couple months, actually, wow, time does fly since we started carrying those. Yeah, he reviews so many products. It's just really cool to hear about those every week. And and they're not always good, don't get us wrong. We have gotten some where it's like, this thing is a piece of crap, and they're like, oh my god. But yeah, but not this time, thankfully. So yeah, but welcome back to the Computer America Show. And we are here in the first hour. We're talking to ViewSonic, and we have Mr. Victor Lamb. He is the product marketing manager for for their lineup. And right now we're talking all about gaming because it is Gamer Tuesday. And we were
brought to you by Intel.
Brought to you by Intel. There we go. Yeah, and so yeah, and we were just getting into these monitors and for gamers, because a monitor can mean so many different things, because a gamer has so many different needs. I mean, let's say one is an RPG player, they're going to want one with the best picture quality, higher contrast, darker darks, whiter whites, that kind of thing. So, so that their RPG game looks as movie-esque and picturesque as possible. Where someone like a MOBA player for Smite, League of Legends, Dota, what have you, they're going to want something with very, very fast, not refresh times, low latency is the best thing that comes to my mind right now. But very, very quick reaction times, and then real-time strategy. You're going to want extremely crisp pictures, so everything's pixel perfect, and you can get down to very detail. So ViewSonic, it seems like you guys are focusing on real-time strategy and MOBA. So what exactly are you guys offering for for these segments?
Yeah, very well. So within the XG lineup, we have these gaming features implemented. One is called the low input lag. Essentially what that is, it has a built-in process reducer that helps decrease the delay between inputs and on-screen execution. So if you're a big RTS player or MOBA player, like what you alluded to earlier, Ben, essentially you want to keep the input lag as low as possible. The click you insert through your mouse or your keyboard, you want it to see it on screen effective immediately, because that's the difference between a game-winning kill or the game defeat. So that's one thing. The other feature we have is something called the black stabilization. It comes into play as well for MOBA, RTS, or even FPS type players, where sometimes people are lurking within parts of your screen. And once you activate the black stabilization, it helps brighten up some of the dark spots to help enhance the visibility of your enemies hiding behind the background.
Is that cheating?
Come into play, and it helps the gamer essentially have a better gaming experience, a more competitive experience.
I don't think Victor heard you say that.
Yeah, like I don't want to call it cheating, but I remember the first time I got like my first pair of high quality gaming headsets, and then I was used to playing with just the television sound, and I got a pair of Turtle Beaches, and I swear I could hear people walking on the other side of the map in Call of Duty, and I was like, this is borderline cheating, and like this is what the pros use. No wonder they're so good. So you're saying that a few of these little tweaks could actually make you maybe not a better gamer, but at least give you more information to work off of, and of course that can lead to improved skill. Yeah,
they all come together to bring about, I wouldn't necessarily call it like cheating, but it's just a better gaming experience against your pal. So hopefully everyone can get a ViewSonic monitor, so they're all on using the same products. So one quick thing to note, actually, for MOBA type games, the Smite World Championship just took place during the time at CES, and I actually was present during that event. It took place in Atlanta, Georgia. And during that time, our European sponsored team called Epsilon, they actually won the Smite World Championship. And at the events, we also had, in particular, our VX57 series monitors there showcased. And we got really good response from all the people attending the shows and leveraging our monitors. So definitely, we're looking into all the different gaming segments and trying to be an active participant.
Very, very nice. It always it warms my heart because you know, esports. I'm sure, as you know, it sounds like you guys are, really sponsoring this and really trying to get it off the ground. Esports is still fledgling, but it's kind of like when you see, high schoolers out there and they have their football helmets and their pads that have been passed down from, school year to school year, and they're the same old pads. And then you go to, like, the NFL, and everyone has bright, shiny new equipment, and it's super sculpted and, 3D printed and blah, blah, blah. And esports is starting to become like that, where, every gamer out there has essentially the equivalent to high school stuff. But then you start seeing what's possible. You start seeing the really, really cool stuff in esports, and it's really exciting. So how far how far is ViewSonic getting into esports?
Right now, with our European counterpart, they're doing definitely really well. The teams that they have sponsored has performed. We're currently assessing the different opportunities for us to introduce our products into different events or gaming teams. So that's still to be determined, but we're definitely taking a serious look into that.
That's good to hear.
So let me, and I want to get more into this, but can you tell us why? I mean, ViewSonic makes these great monitors. What was the motivation? Why did ViewSonic start making monitors that were specific to gaming? Did you see a need for this, or you said we can do this a lot better? I mean, why did you start making gaming monitors?
We definitely hope that people can reflect that and like what you said, that we can make these better than what our competitors are doing. So that was definitely one of the motivations that drove us. We're actually constantly always evaluating latest panel technologies, and as we've talked about throughout the show, variable refresh rate was one of them. High refresh rate panel was another, and it was at this time last year we really thought that there's enough mature technology out there to really bring about these gaming monitors and provide gamers a really great product that can help them with a better overall competitive gaming experience, whether it's casual or competitive. So that's kind of what brought it about. We looked at the current environment, what panel vendors had, and it was just a natural extension of what we do. We always bring out the best that we could with the different panel solutions there are.
Talk a little bit about some of the feedback that you've been getting so far from gamers who are using your monitors.
The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. During CES, a lot of the different press and reviewers we talked to were very excited, and they have been reviewing a lot of our products. So if you do a quick search right now, you'll see that a lot of our XG products have got stellar reviews and positive ratings, even on all the different e-tailer sites you can find with our products. And it's just, again, hopefully re-emphasizes what I'm saying, in which people love our products, not just for all the great features, but at the same time, the reliability and the quality we put into all these products.
Now, earlier on in the hour, you alluded to, and I wanted to get back to it, is some of the you said there's some new monitors just around the corner that you're going to be releasing that have some additional features. Can you talk a little bit about what the direction that you're going to be going with those, and then maybe a little further down the road what we can expect to see?
Do you see a day when every gaming monitor, or let alone every monitor, is going to be 4K?
Okay, good question.
For 4K, it comes back to the cost in which it needs to, that's associated with supporting such a resolution. So I wouldn't say immediately you'll see even all monitors going to the 4K direction. It might take a while for adoption to occur, because currently Windows 10 just actually launched the ability to scale the icons when you're running a 4K display. In the past, for Windows 8, the icons were really small. It was really difficult to leverage the native Windows resolution within that. So as it stands now, 4K is still kind of the unicorn. I know a lot of benchmarking testers, they do their test with 4K UHD to see how far they can push the graphics card. But as it stands now, it's not going to be the mainstream. You're still talking about the more or less air is very thin up there, and people who can really spend a couple of $1,000s building out their PC. That's the resolution they're going after.
Right.
So Victor, let's say all of a sudden I just teleported you back to the late 90s. So Victor, do you think we're going to see these flat screens take off, or are they going to replace all the CRT monitors that are out there?
I feel like what you're trying to say, Craig, is that eventually everything leads to, like, what is cutting edge today in 5 years is pretty much standard.
Yeah,
and
you would agree with that, Victor?
And cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're heading towards that direction. But as to when we'll achieve there, I really can't put a time on that as it stands now.
But it's got to be. I mean, unless we blow ourselves off the face of the earth or something. I mean, as technology continues to progress, these older technologies are going to phase out, and everything is going to be, it's going to be 4K, and we'll be debating the wherewithal, the likelihood of 8K monitors at that point, or even beyond. But I think eventually it's everything became flat. I mean, CRTs are gone. I can't remember the last time I ever saw a cathode ray tube monitor lying around anywhere. It's all flat screens. And I think, and how long before that transition completely took place? It was like 5-7 years ago. We finally went all flat screens, maybe 10 years ago. It sort of happened. We didn't even notice it. It was just you walk into a TV, buy a TV, and all of a sudden they're all flat screens. It's like when I walked into the record store, 15-20 years ago, and I was looking for vinyl records, and then they were all CDs. The CDs originally were on the back rack, some few and far between. Then they were all CDs, and now of course it's it's all pretty much digital streaming is really. So we're seeing basic changes in the technology when we live, and we're seeing that across the board in all different forms of technology. And of course, one of the most important components of your computer is the screen. I mean, it's right up there with the keyboard and the mouse. I mean, the screen.
I have friends that do that. Like, I have a friend who actually got a free Dell monitor. This thing was like an 11-inch. It came with all the standard, computers that came with the school district. And then they got new ones. Like even the school district, finally got around to getting new ones. He got one of those for free. And no matter what computer he has, no matter how far he upgrades it, he always carries around the same stupid monitor from like 2003. And I shake my head because I'm like, it doesn't matter what graphics card you put in. It doesn't matter. It's like he has like 3 converters, go from like VGA to all the way to HDMI because it's so old. And it doesn't matter because if you have a weak monitor, no matter what you have in it, it's still going to look like crap.
So
yeah, exactly. It's your window. So if your window into whatever you're processing, if it's, and especially if you're using too many converters, you see diminishing resolutions or issues that you can possibly run into.
Right. I think the bare minimum today is 1080p. I mean, that's the minimum. All the 720s are all kind of being they're all kind of being phased out.
Everything. Even smartphones are above 720 by now.
Yeah, 720 or 1080. There's no 1080i either. It's the interlace is gone. It's all 1080p. I mean, minimal. I mean, that's it. And of course, now we're debating about the 4K, and we're seeing that the prices of 4Ks keep coming down. I mean, we did a news story just
someone's coming to market with like a $400 one.
$400 4K TV.
It was like 44 or 50 inch, something like that. But it was cool. But real quick, and we say monitor, and of course that goes hand in hand with computer. Yay! But a lot of gamers, they are also on consoles. Shame on them, but they are. Would a ViewSonic gaming monitor have any kind of benefit for a PS4, Xbox One, later gen console?
Yeah, definitely. Kind of the stuff we talked about earlier with regards to low input lag, black stabilization. We even feature something called game mode, in which you can throttle between RTS, FPS, or MOBA type games. And the good thing is, oftentimes some of the target segments we're going after is students in college dorm rooms. They don't really have too much space, but with the gaming monitors, it's actually a pretty sweet spot. Granted, you always want larger screens for greater immersion, but at a 27-inch or a 24-inch that's fully ergonomic, you can really have a nice setup that's just custom to what you like to play and how you like to play it.
Victor, would you say that also the people say the blacker the blacks are, the better it is? Where do we stand today? I mean, we just bought a smart TV and a 4K television. When that thing goes to between commercials, when it goes black, just between the commercials, it looks like it's off. You can't even tell that it's on. And in a dark room, I mean, it's so black. So how important is that with these monitors?
It really depends on the panel type. So probably what you have right now is going to be a premium type panel. So for monitors, the one big outside of variable refresh rate and 144 hertz is response time. And currently on the market, the best panels to achieve the lowest response time is still TN panel. And when it comes to TN panel, you're not going to be seeing the kind of contrast ratios you're seeing on your television set. It's going to be slightly different. And plus, the biggest thing to focus, just for gamers' reference, is whenever they're cross-shopping for monitors, or even TVs actually, look for the native contrast ratio, because there's a lot of ability to, the way to measure contrast can drastically vary. The darkest dark against the whitest white, but they can throttle that. That's why you see some contrast ratio. It's like 1,000,000 to 1 or 50 million to 1.
And you go,
but
wow.
The best is just look at the native contrast ratio. Then that gives you essentially the key spec of the panel itself.
Talk a little bit about the specifications. I mean, I know when you go shopping for a printer, the DPI is the most important thing, on the box. What are the most important things that you mentioned one when we look at the box, on the specifications of the monitor. What are some of the important things that we should look for?
First thing I would definitely look at is resolution. Determine what resolution you would like to game on, whether it's 1080p, QHD, or 4K. So determine that, and then if you're a gamer who likes to play extremely fast-paced action games, look for high refresh rates. So go for the 144 hertz or even higher. And next is looking at the response time. Making sure the response time, if you're a fast-paced gamer, you want that as low as possible. But if you're a casual, if you like to play real-time strategy or RPG type games or even MMOs, that's not your biggest concern. But all of those things you have to weigh in and looking at your own gaming setup to determine what it is. So resolution, refresh rate, response time, whether or not it has variable refresh rate technology, and connection ports. It has to be compatible with your graphics card.
Now we're talking about monitors and we're talking about these gaming monitors, but I know ViewSonic makes other products and projectors and everything. How do these monitors rank in level of importance? I mean, is ViewSonic really getting into the monitors and fading out the other products, or are they maintaining the other product lines as well that ViewSonic makes?
Because it seems like a lot of these elements that you're talking about, not one-to-one ratios. I mean, something like one of the higher-end gaming monitors that we've been talking about would definitely be good for, let's say someone who does video editing or something like that.
When it comes to our monitor lineup, if we take a closer focus on monitor itself within our product portfolio, we actually have different product lines. So gaming monitor would be good for, to some degree, it might be compatible with photo editing and video editing, but you actually want to look for monitors that support Adobe RGB color space for 100% sRGB. And we have those within our VP product lineup. And we're currently in the works of revamping that and making it even better. So those are the VP product lineup, are professional displays. So on those displays, you'll see the higher resolution, the more industrial design ID, as well as key features such as color space support, gamma support, all of the good stuff that you need to actually see your products or whatever content you're creating in the instance it's designed for.
So it looks like you have four basic categories. You have entertainment and gaming, which we've been talking about mostly today, but you also have what you call pro video and graphics. And those are for the Photoshop, you mentioned digital Ken.
The whole line of colors and that kind of thing.
That type, the full spectrum of colors. And then you have one for office applications. You have monitors for those as well?
Yeah, so that would fall under our VG category. So those are our industrial grade displays. For those particular model, you're looking at fully ergonomic stand that does height, swivel, pivot, and tilt. That's very important in a commercial or enterprise setting. You want to make sure you have good posture. So naturally, the monitor itself is one of the factors that determine that. And within those, that category, you'll see industrial type or enterprise type connectors. So you'll see a lot of DisplayPort connections. And overall, the design is matte finish. So it kind of blends into the environment.
That's nice.
And that's
not reflective.
big contrast against our
right.
non-reflective, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Because the last thing you want to do is you're working on a spreadsheet to see your coworker reflected behind you in the screen. And then, of course, the other category is our touch displays. Tell us a little bit about those.
So in our touch category, we have two types of touch technology. The first type is an optical touch. So optical touch, you could use anything from your finger to a pen to something inanimate. It can still register the touch. And we have something called projective capacitive touch. So that's the same type of touch technology that's on your smartphones nowadays. So those two offer different applications. So whether or not you want to use your finger, projective capacitive, it has to be conductive. So you have to use your finger. That's why on the market you see some gloves that are specially designed for cell phones.
Yeah.
Those conduct the electric frequency that can help register the touch on the projective capacitive panels.
And of course, anything you're touching, you want to make sure that the glass is scratch resistant too. So I'm assuming you have scratch resistant glass on these monitors of some sort.
Yeah. They're rated at 7H, so extreme hardness. It's essentially very strong glass that will protect the panel itself. Yeah.
So Victor,
so 7H, folks. I know you love using your diamond-tipped, stylus, but you might have to put those away.
Yeah, exactly. So Victor, we're almost out of time here. We've covered such a lot. Anything else you'd like to add for our listeners about ViewSonic?
Just to reemphasize again that we recently launched our XG Complete gaming lineup. We feature variable refresh rate, and that definitely helps with giving you a tear-free visual gaming experience. And later in the summer, our G-Sync variation is coming out. That will be a 27-inch QHD, the real sweet spot of building out a gaming rig with a really perfect monitor. So I think be on the lookout for that and check out what we have, and I really appreciate you guys having me on for the show.
No, yeah, and just clarify between the G-Sync and the FreeSync. I mean, what is G-Sync?
NVIDIA, AMD.
Yeah, what is the G-Sync bringing to the table above the FreeSync?
They're essentially identical solutions, but from different companies. So the G-Sync typically is, well, it's associated with NVIDIA, and FreeSync is just with AMD.
Got it. Okay. So you need to get you need to know what hardware you have before you go shopping for the monitor to make sure you get the right one, I would assume. Yeah. And even so, like for Ben, I know you're a big fan of NVIDIA, but even right now you can pick up one of our XG2401s. You're still going to see the 144 hertz refresh rate and the super low response time. So it'll still be a great monitor. And essentially, it's all a bunch of factors, right? Depending on your budget, the game types you like, there really is a monitor out there within our product portfolio that is designed for you as it stands now.
Yeah, right. And I think at the end of the day, if you do research and you do get a good monitor and you have a higher end graphics card, I mean, regardless AMD, NVIDIA, and regardless monitor, from whatever make and model, and if it has FreeSync or G-Sync, I mean, it's still going to be a good monitor regardless. But it's kind of one of those things that we see in technology so much that, when everything's by the same manufacturer, everything's designed to work together, from the manufacturer, things just play nicer. It doesn't mean that other things won't work. It just means that it just plays nicer.
Hey Victor, we ought to get you to send one to Ben so he can.
Well, I'm sure we'll keep in touch. But the G-Sync one that you guys are coming out this summer, that one sounds really nice.
All right, there you go. All right, well we'll talk to your PR person Joey Liu about that, and maybe we can make that happen. Listen, I want to thank you, Victor, for being with us here on today's show. Again, you can go head over to computeramerica.com. Just we have a link right to the ViewSonic website that talks about all these gaming monitors that we've talked about. It's a real long URL, so just go to computeramerica.com, click on it, the ViewSonic link, and we have that up there for your so you can check out all the monitors.
Or by all means, just go to ViewSonic, just go to ViewSonic.com and poke around and see their whole line of products. They do have a lot of different monitors.
Exactly. All right, Victor. Well, again, thank you so much for being with us here today. We had a lot of fun. Hopefully, you had a good time, and I'm certainly as certain as more things develop with ViewSonic, we'll have you back on the show. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it, Craig and Ben. I look forward to speaking to you guys again.
All right. Take care. Happy gaming.
Have a good one.
All right.
Happy gaming. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. There he goes. Okay. Again, Victor Lamb.
I think I could take him. He sounds confident, but I think I could take him.
You think he could? Okay. Well, you never know. Anything is possible. Oh my goodness. I still can't. So the artificial intelligence computer beat the
AlphaGo.
Go.
DeepMind AlphaGo.
Yeah, AlphaGo. Yep, beat him.
4-1. Beat him 4-1. And by the way, AlphaGo received an honorary 9-dan title. So 9-dan is reserved for the highest ranking Go champions in the world, and AlphaGo, for the first time ever, received an honorary title. I mean, like, this isn't now he has an honorary 9-dan. This is the first the serial number of the honorary certificate that he got was 001. And it's not binary, but yes, he was the first ever, or I say he, AlphaGo was the first ever thing, human or otherwise, to receive an honorary title.
Wow. All right, well, coming up in the next hour, we're going to have DJ Particle is going to be joining us. DJ Particle is an openly lesbian comedy and satire music DJ who bills herself as the riocidal lesbian parodist. She's going to be joining us in the second hour of the show. Also, we've got maybe we'll have some computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. Another news tips bulletin review is coming up as well. We're going to be right back. You're listening to Computer America.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we continue on here with the show. If you just missed the first hour with ViewSonic, you certainly can listen to it again. We archive all of our shows at ComputerAmerica.com, the internet home of our radio broadcast. And just go to any page, click on the archive selection on the pull-down menu, on the menu bar, and you'll see that you can listen to our show on Apple's iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, the Blog Talk Radio Network, all carry archives of the show. We're also on the TuneIn Radio Network, the IRN Radio Network, all the different places you can listen to the show. It's all there at ComputerAmerica.com. Everything we do with the show is reflected on our website, ComputerAmerica.com.
Absolutely.
Also, it's only the second day, but make sure that you register for a contest as well. That's coming up this Friday. We give away a Logitech MX2 Anywhere wireless mouse to some deserving person. Okay.
Or undeserving. I don't know. We don't bet.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
You think a ViewSonic monitor might be in your future?
I hope so. He definitely made a very compelling argument for it, and ViewSonic, they're not they're not an unknown name from China. They're not an unknown name from India. They've been in the market for a long time. I think a lot of people recognize the name ViewSonic. So, but the exciting thing here is, of course, that they are launching their gaming monitors.
Yes.
So they're breaking into new territory, and it sounds like they have their heads on right with just what if they just said, oh, it's our office monitor, but we put LEDs on it and we painted it black, so gamers will love it. They didn't come on saying that. They actually, had the hardware behind it to speak to the gamer, to the gaming audience. So they have their heads in the right place.
Well, we are on our Gamer Show today, and again, just to mention that today's Gamer Tuesday is brought to you by Intel. And in case you missed it this week, as many of you know, it's the Game Developers Conference, the GDC, in San Francisco, and Intel will be providing a glimpse of future gaming experiences, from virtual reality to Intel RealSense-enabled features, showing new hardware and discussing the importance of diversity and inclusion in the gaming community. It's no surprise that Intel is taking a serious spot on the GDC show floor, as they have been focusing on the gaming community for some time now. The launch of the K SKU in August, remember that? Their overclockable 6th-generation core processor is just one example. So, by the way, if you are at the Game Developers Conference or planning to head out there, make sure that you head over to the Intel's booth and check them out. Tell them we sent you here at ComputerAmerica.com. So, anything else you want to mention before we get our next guest on the show, Ben?
Oh, if we're just working on the hype train, Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford are coming back for Indiana Jones 5. So
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just announced. 2019 though, so you have time.
Are they going to be old? Are they going to be too old for the part?
I'm hoping it's a passing of the torch story, just like Creed was with the whole Rocky film.
I can't see him swinging from the. I can't see him doing all the physical things that he used to do when he was younger.
I've seen those movies. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were some punching and fighting scenes, but a lot of what made those movies great was really the character acting that Harrison Ford did. Not even the physical stunts, but just the character acting.
Yeah. Well, I guess if he can reprise Han Solo in Star Wars, I guess he can reprise Indiana Jones.
And even the latest one, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, only earned $1 billion. So I don't know why they would do this. But it is what it is.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there.
Yes, it is. It's neither here nor there. But our guest for this hour is DJ Particle. And as I said, DJ Particle is an openly lesbian comedy and satire music DJ and performer who bills herself as the riocidal lesbian parodist. She has been the host of Revenge of the Particle and the Mad Music Dementia Top 20 Streamcast, and its merged format, Mad Music Top 20 Revenge. Currently, she hosts I Got Game, spotlighting video games and the songs inspired by them, and the YouTube Let's Play series Particle Play. The show has flagship affiliates in Dementia Radio and madmusic.com. Please welcome DJ Particle to the show. Particle, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
We're doing well.
We're doing well.
Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure. So, okay, I got to ask this. I mean, how did you get interested in video gaming? I mean, how did this all kind of come about?
Oh, ever since I was really little. We're talking like age 4 here. Back then, I used to live on Cape Cod, and there wasn't really an arcade near me per se, but my father was a professional candlepin bowler, and at the local, if you're talking Cape Cod, I guess 30 minutes away would be considered local bowling alley. They always had a couple video games there. I think the first two I remember being there were probably Starship 1 and probably Asteroids.
Space Invader, maybe, or something.
I don't think Space Invaders was there, but I just loved playing the electronic games. And then at one point, my parents got a Magnavox Odyssey 4000. Keep in mind, this was 1978.
Okay.
Craig remembers that.
I remember that.
Yeah. And at the time, I thought it was the best thing in the world. So if you want to know how I got started, that's pretty much how I got started. And several consoles later, here I am.
What console do you own currently, out of curiosity?
The Nintendo Wii U and 3DS are the two consoles I currently own. We have a Wii in the household, but that technically belongs to my fiance.
Okay.
There you go.
You see,
And you know, and I think a lot of gamers nowadays they can totally commiserate with you because I know that personally, I definitely started gaming when I was 4. I was luckily my first real video game was Warcraft 1 back in like 1994. But yeah, and you know, just growing up with video games is a completely different experience. And it's good to hear that you can definitely, you know, kind of I feel like people who didn't, and you know, and this is any, you know, I know many people who even my age who didn't grow up with video games, that when you say, you know, what do you do in your free time? I play video games, and they say, wow, that's a big waste of time. Why would you ever do that? You know, it's hard to explain that to you, to them reading a book, to you playing a video game, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I think people are less inclined to saying that today. I mean, people know that people make careers out of playing video games. Millions of dollars are at stake. I mean, I think it's really come into the mainstream more than it used to be.
Yeah, the Let's Play community.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about the big names there: PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye. You know.
Yeah.
I do it too, but I only have double-digit subscribers right now.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely try to get that up today. But the whole community, you know, the one that no one ever saw coming was a group of people who would enjoy not just playing video games, but sit there and watch other people play video games through and through.
Mm-hmm. That's where Twitch was born, I guess. Twitch.
That too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who would have thought that just sitting down and watching? But then again, it makes perfect sense. I mean, people sit around and watch football. They don't play it. They watch it. They watch baseball. It's an interesting pastime. And why should video game be any different? If you're really into the game, you want to watch the real pros. You want to watch the best people out there playing it. And,
esports.
Esports, yeah, exactly. Why not? It makes perfect sense to me. Why DJ Particle? Where does that come from?
Oh, goes back to college actually. When I was a freshman in college, I started to get into They Might Be Giants. At the time, their new album was Flood.
I love their stuff.
Mm-hmm. And one of the songs on the album was a song called Particle Man, and I was just so enthralled by that song. I used to play it over and over again.
Particle Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So they just kind of just nicknamed me Particle, and when I finally got into radio in my senior year, I basically decided to use it as my DJ name, hence DJ Particle. And I was also occasionally DJing at one of the local clubs in the area too. So DJ Particle.
My condolences for getting into radio, but
I know.
Boy, so how is that going for you?
Well, it not quite as busy as I used to be in those duties. I mean, you mentioned the Mad Music Top 20 Revenge. I just recently canceled that show. Yeah. This past January, I did my last 2 shows, which was the Mad Music Top 100 of 2015, and the reasons were a fewfold for canceling the show. Number one, there just wasn't enough audience participation, and what that meant is one artist could get a whole bunch of friends together and just spam the voting, and there weren't enough other voters to counter it, and that happened.
We've definitely seen that with tons, not just yours, but really at this point, anyone who does any kind of online poll with any kind of publicity, there's always that group of people that will completely dominate it and essentially kind of ruin the results.
Yeah, and the other reason is, and this is something I picked up from the Let's Play community, I notice, I talked about the big Let's Players. PewDiePie's got 42 million subscribers. Markiplier's got 11 million. Jacksepticeye has 10 million. But they don't make they occasionally mention, like when they reach a milestone, they mention how much they have, but it's not a competition to them. They just do what they love. They do their art, and they're also together in the big community. They're not in competition, and it just made me realize art shouldn't be a contest.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, there's one exception I will make, and that's for Casey Kasem in the American Top 40. Simply
Why
because
is he the exception?
because because he is one of my two biggest influences in radio.
Well, we have to have it. We all
My
have.
other being Dr. Demento.
Oh, Dr. Demento, my goodness. I mean, how can you not? I mean, you're mentioning classics. You know, they really are, and it's nice to have. I guess I don't know some role models, but it's the people that you admire in a particular area and feel but then of course you have to come up with your own thing. We already have a Dr. Demento. We don't need another one, I guess. So you have to kind of start.
Well, and I think though this is something that the younger generation definitely needs, because the Let's Play community and people who stream on Twitch and these streamers that stream video games, a lot of them are started when they were 16. They started they really weren't listening to that much radio, so like they're kind of setting their own standards. But I feel like a lot of these people they're slowly learning what I think the radio industry already knows about how to make an entertaining format, and how to weave in advertisers, and how to keep your integrity in the face of all that. I feel like a lot of these Let's Plays and streamers, they're slowly learning what the people that you just mentioned, if they had paid attention to people come from before them, they would have already known.
Well, there's another thing in play as well. You're talking about the age of the internet, where pretty much anyone can be creative and put their stuff out, instantly for anyone to watch. I mean, it's not really like radio and television, where you had to have a lot of money and invest in a transmitter and all that. I mean, this is pretty much the age of, I don't know a better way to put this, the age of the P1. Basically, whatever pinpoint interest you have, you can find entertainment about it on the internet.
Yeah,
very true.
Yeah, the internet.
And that's not true with radio or TV.
There was that kid who blew up on the internet a couple months ago. He made videos about him, like he had like a whole diorama set up of toy dinosaurs, and he used to give little dinosaur facts and make these little videos, and they had like 10 views each and stuff like that. But someone found him, and it's like, if you were looking for an 8-year-old explaining what a plesiosaurus is and how it would interact with other plastic dinosaurs, I mean, he's got you covered. He had hundreds of videos.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
There's just about anything and everything.
And it doesn't take too much for, and this is an 8-year-old who did it himself. He uploaded the videos, he made the videos, he shot the videos, made his own intro. I mean, he did it himself, and I think that's what you're talking about, Particle, is that, if you want to, and if you have an interest, you can go do it. And just like you said, radio and television, there's only a couple hundred personalities, in the whole field of the thing, and there's really not room for more. But on the internet, there's room for everyone.
I mean, there are likely more Let's Play channels. I mean, just one genre. There's probably more Let's Play channels on YouTube than there are terrestrial or cable television channels in the world.
Yeah.
And that's just the magic of the internet. If you have an interest and you want to just geek out about that interest through information or entertainment on the internet, it's there. It's right there for you. You don't need terrestrial TV. You don't need terrestrial radio. Internet, it's right there.
But then that of course comes with the scary territory of, well, scary, and let's face it, it's how do you make yourself stand out? Because when you have that much competition, it's and like you said, it's art should not be about competition, but at some point you have to say, here's why you should watch my channel, is because I'm more informative, or I'm more entertaining, or I'm or I do this or I do that. And I guess you have to find your niche. So, and I guess this kind of goes to you, is what are you feeling? And I'm guessing that as you mentioned, you're kind of canceling shows and starting new ones. How is your niche kind of evolving lately?
Well, first in terms of my YouTube channel, I will say this: I haven't found a lot of Let's Players who are my age. I mean, I'm going to be 44 later this year.
Oh, okay.
So I mean,
You don't sound a day over 20.
Yeah.
I mean, remember earlier I said my first console was the Magnavox Odyssey 4000 in 1978. So
I thought somebody handed that down to you. Okay.
But most of these people you see Let's Playing, they're millennials. There aren't a lot of Gen X Let's Players out there. And I'm also a little more laid back. I'm not as much of a screamer as most of the other Let's Players, and some people might find that a little more boring. Other people might like that approach better. I mean, right now I only have 26 subscribers, but the thing is, you can't really care about that. Despite that, I've still made 73 videos since last when would that be? Last May. And that's that's while doing the Mad Music Top 20, while doing my 40-hour-a-week date. Well, actually, it's a grave shift job, but still, and I like it.
Yeah, and you mentioned like the screamers. I mean, personally, whenever I watch someone, don't get me wrong. Sometimes the screamers they're more fun to listen to, but I mean, at the same time, I'll just be sitting in here, playing video games and listening, and then like I know, like they'll scream randomly, and then I get these questions thrown down the hall at me, from like Craig or from someone, and they're like, did someone just die? What just happened?
Are you okay, Ben? This horrific.
Yeah, and to at least for me, I really don't find that entertaining. I kind of like to listen, and I know it sounds lonely and dorky, but hey, you get to sound like you get to feel like you're sitting there with friends playing video games together, and I think that's what a lot of people like about Let's Play.
And of course, there's another thing about Let's Players as well. It also allows you, say if you're interested in knowing what a certain game is like before you buy it, you can search for it on YouTube, and you'll get like, say, 20 different Let's Players or more playing the game, and you can get a preview, and you can actually watch what the game is like before you actually purchase it and try it on your own. I mean, that's how I found Five Nights at Freddy's. That's how I found practically every game I've Let's played. So.
Yeah, the day and age of going online and looking for reviews, and just finding those one or two written out reviews. But nowadays, you can get reviews to the point where you're essentially watching the entire video game played before you even have to touch it. So for the people who are very conscious about dropping that $60, $30, $45 on a video game, and you want to make sure that you like it, that's definitely a good advancement lately. Is that you don't have to take the risk, really, of a bad video game.
Right.
Exactly.
Very, very good.
So now the describe. I mean, you've got I Got Game. That's what you're spotlighting certain video games and the songs, and what's that all about?
All right. I Got Game was a show concept I thought of in late 2015 when I decided I was going to cancel the Mad Music Top 20. I figured I was doing these Let's Plays, so I figured why not do a gaming related music show on Dementia Radio. And IRN. It airs on IRN as well. So
Yeah.
So I figured is I Got Game. It's a 1 hour weekly show, and I spotlight a particular game, or if it's a franchise, I'll do it over the course of 2 weeks. But I spotlight a particular game. I talk about it. If there's lore behind it, I'll talk about the lore. I'll talk about the gameplay, and then for just about any video game you can imagine, there are musicians who make songs inspired by the games. Sometimes they're parodies of other pop songs, sometimes they're original songs, but you'll find them for just about any game that exists at this point. You know, especially the popular ones like, say, Five Nights at Freddy's, Super Mario. You know, you'll find numerous music and music videos on YouTube with these songs.
I spent a good portion of my teen years listening to Halo music videos, and you know, and all the stuff that went along with Halo. And you know, one of my favorite that I'm sure you've reviewed is just Warcraft and the entire Warcraft universe, and how really their music, and they have the full orchestra performing all their music and all their original music. I mean, music in video games is a very not just fascinating, but it's a very, you know, people would be surprised how good the music behind, you know, these flashing pictures is.
Well, I was going to ask you. I mean, is it some guy with a guitar, or is it a full production? I mean, speak to the quality of these. I mean, are they?
Oh, the quality varies. I mean, if you have someone that's not as experienced, you get lesser quality, but you know, you still have to appreciate the art and the time they took to create the song. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got, you know, the big professionals like, you know, MC Lars, Brental Floss, Insane Ian, Great Luke Ski, and over there you've got quality that rivals pretty much stuff you'd hear on regular top 40 radio.
Wow. That is.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, no.
The fans are very, very passionate, and you know, gamers aren't just gamers anymore. Gamers are businessmen. Gamers are, you know, just college students. Gamers are musicians, and you know, some of my favorite songs have definitely come out from people who play video games and then get inspired, because, you know, some people get inspired by books, some people get inspired by pictures, and some people are inspired by video games. It just makes sense.
Ben, you mentioned Warcraft earlier. Now, I honestly, from my experience, I don't think a game has quite been so covered by fan music as World of Warcraft.
Hey, they did a South Park episode on that.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you something. There are so many World of Warcraft based songs out there that back in 2011, someone actually compiled them all and created a radio station with that as its format.
Wow.
I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm now the current curator of that collection and that radio station. Well, can I mention it?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Fire Mage Radio, it's called.
Fire Mage Radio.
Yep, you can find it on Facebook.com/Fire Mage Radio. But yeah, it's all WoW and sprinkled. It's all WoW music sprinkled with some other MMO music and maybe some other music that the artists known for WoW music have done.
Right.
And there's like 1,400 songs and growing.
Do you have like a classic Tuesday where you play, like, you know, Blue Dress, and you know, you got to play WoW every day and like stuff like that, or is it just like a giant playlist set on random?
Right now, it's just a playlist set on random. If I get enough people who are interested in doing shows, then I'll see about transitioning it more to a show-based station, you know, like it used to be back in 2011. But yeah, right now it's just a playlist on random. But it's still enough to entertain some of the more diehards.
Right.
Now, I understand that you have a special love for Raya. And you so much so that you've called yourself the Raya-sidal lesbian paradise.
Is hate a special love?
Raya-sidal lesbian paradise. Well, the Raya, the RIAA, personally I think is the bane of popular music today. I mean, and probably the biggest example of that right now. You heard about what happened with Kesha recently.
Yeah, didn't she have to stop making music because of a contract?
Yes.
Making music.
she got into a contract with someone who ended up abusing her, allegedly. I have to say allegedly.
Mhm.
And the court decision was recently handed down where she was not allowed to get freed from her contract. But this is the kind of stuff that the RIAA does. This is why I hate the labels associated with the RIAA, and that's why I call myself Riocidal, because I want the RIAA to die. And the title, and actually that title itself is a parody. There's a lesbian comic book character named Hothead Pison, and she's billed as the homicidal lesbian terrorist. So I kind of parodized that into Riocidal lesbian parodist.
I got you now. So even the term parodist is used in a broader term, which is then a parody of okay.
It's parodyception.
There you go. It makes sense when you think about it, but it's hard to think about. Yeah, no, it definitely. We're coming to a break really quick, and we're gonna have to continue this on the other side of it. But definitely want to get into a little bit more about Raya and all this kind of stuff, because a lot of the music that we hear nowadays is really thanks to the infrastructure we have built up around music, and want to get your thoughts on where you think the music industry is going to head, because hey, proliferation of the internet, yay, and what we're seeing with let's play games and stuff like that. Really, anyone can have a voice on the internet, but at the end of the day, traditional media is still kind of dominant in a lot of our lives in a lot of ways. So
for now,
I think after the break, I kind of want to get your opinion on how Raya might be phased out eventually, and how the internet is going to change our music, or at least, or just everything about our lives. So yeah.
All right. Well, you're listening to the Computer America show. Ben and I are talking to DJ Particle, and we're going to be commenting on her special feelings and emotions when it comes to Raya. And in the meantime, if you have a comment or question, give us a call, 347-884-8881, 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. Or, again, any page at computeramerica.com, the upper right-hand corner, just submit a question. You can submit your question that way as well. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We promise we'll be right back. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf's staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Yeah, we tried flying United, but the flight attendant wouldn't let us. I'm Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time air hook. It takes a while to understand what the air hook is about if you're not aboard an airplane when it arrives. It's supposed to hold stuff. So start in your mind with a tray table in its closed and upright position. Open it for a second, just a smidge. Slide the air hook clip over the tray's top edge and secure the tray again. There's a hook below the holder gizmo that you can use for your headphones, a round ring with a removable spider to make it a cup holder, and a bungee with a clip so you can mount your handset or tablet up on it. The whole thing comes with a travel pouch. Now, the handset or tablet positioning is better for viewing than for typing. Be aware. Bottom line, the air hook can do the holding. When there's a seat back tray, you'd rather not be unfolding. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
All right, welcome back to the Computer America Show. Yes, 33 minutes past the hour, and that was Marty Winston with a News Tip Bulletin Review. And also, because it is our Gamer Tuesday, Intel has taken a special interest in our gamer segment because they do so much with it. That's they are an integral part of what we do here on our Gamer Tuesday. So we are here this hour with DJ Particle, the riocidal lesbian parodist, where we just went over the origins of that title. And right before the break, I had a long, convoluted diatribe about really, if you're going to be riocidal, there has to be a system, at least in your mind, hopefully, DJ Particle, that can replace it. And these long contracts, and I think I think anyone can admit that if there's a contract where a musician who makes their livelihood off of making music and being creative is really forced to not make music, that kind of contract and these kind of deals really aren't in the best interest of the fans. They aren't in the best interest of the artist. And really, if these artists aren't making music, then how are they in any interest of the companies who produce these kinds of things? So, in your mind, what would you say is the replacement system? Is it just the internet, quote unquote?
Yeah, it's already here. I mean, there are musicians on the internet who they don't deal with contracts, they don't deal with labels, but they get really popular anyway. And sometimes they'll create a song that will become an internet meme, and maybe they might get popular enough to say hit the Billboard Hot 100. I mean, the week that Billboard Hot 100 started taking YouTube views into account, in that same week, debut at #1, Harlem Shake.
All right.
I'm not kidding.
You weren't kidding when you said a song that is a meme, because the Harlem Shake, while the music catchy, I'm sure many people still have flashbacks. It was used beyond the music, though. It was used as essentially like the audio cue that crazy stuff was about to happen.
And every time someone viewed one of those videos, it counted as a tally toward its views for the Hot 100. And that was how when Billboard started putting in YouTube views, when they started counting YouTube views toward their Hot 100 tally, that's how Harlem Shake got right to #1, because that happened right in the middle of the peak of that meme.
Right.
And it stayed at #1 for a few weeks.
And then even the Harlem Shake videos even kind of died off those couple weeks later. But yeah, and just take a look at Gangnam Style, which is a personal favorite, because I swear to God, daily, I look at that. I just go there and look at the view count. 2.5 billion, by the way, if anyone's curious.
But the interesting thing about Gangnam Style is Gangnam Style never hit #1 on the Hot 100. It got as far as #2, and that's because that was actually about half a year before the Hot 100 started counting YouTube views.
So you think it would have been?
That was just on purchasing the song alone.
That means so many people have the Gangnam Style on their iPhone somewhere. He's
come up with so many other songs, but that I don't think any of them. Actually,
Gentleman did pretty well as well. And Daddy has a hilarious video.
Daddy's the relatively new one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has a few, and definitely launched his career, and he's I think at this point a national treasure.
You don't.
But
He's a one-hit wonder.
No.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Gentleman has almost 1 billion views in its own right. So
Right.
It's also quite a hit. Gangnam Style appeared on Billboard's Hot 100 of the Year for both 2012 and 2013.
I believe it. So you're saying that the internet, because I guess the real attraction to the old school style of music, and you know, it's just one of those things that technology wasn't really there to to cultivate it, and it's a holdover from the past. But it's that if you sign on with a producer, they're going to help you make songs. They're going to give you studio time. They're going to market you, and they're going to essentially help you build an audience and expand yourself. But I guess you're saying that with the internet, there are people kind of doing that for themselves and doing it successfully.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, the people who are browsing the internet, they're going to decide what they like. They're going to share it, and then other people are going to share it, and that's how it pretty much happens now. You don't need contracts, you don't need agents. I mean, for example, look at, I know this isn't music, but look at top Let's Player PewDiePie. He's got 42 million subscribers. He makes some double-digit millions of dollars a year just from his videos on YouTube, and he doesn't like have an agent. He doesn't have a contract. Well, I guess he now has a contract with YouTube Red, but
Right.
on his way up, he didn't have an agent. He didn't have a contract. It just happened. He just started making videos. People liked them. People shared them. More people joined in. More people joined in. And now look at him. You see him on. You see him on late night talk shows. You see him on the cover of Variety, and this was all organic. There was no big corporate money machine behind it.
It's a true validation that if there's talent, it's going to happen regardless. He's a talent, and it manifests itself.
Right.
And of course, it gave him a venue where artists before may not have had. In other words,
I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
Is that YouTube and Twitch and other services. One thing that they're doing differently, that has just really started taking off, although YouTube has been doing it for quite a while, is that they're providing the platform that people can grow the audience, but also monetize their audience. And
Right.
I think that's the real breakthrough.
Yeah, and Ben, when you and I were going through the sound check earlier, you got to see where I'm talking to you from. I'm just talking to you from my apartment.
Right.
I got a cheap $20 mic and a $100 mixer. I could produce shows that maybe they weren't quite up to the production level of big time radio shows, but they were close enough.
Mhm.
It was close enough to have that same sound, that same feel. You don't need a big studio. You don't need to invest a lot of money. If you have a powerful enough computer and the right software, just go.
Yeah. Believe me, talk to Greg about that and all the not DSL, IDNS lines.
ISDN.
ISDN.
Which was the digital phone lines. Radio broadcast, they would use ISDN. They still do it, but it's an antiquated technology.
Yeah, there's one guy in every state, and he's always on the opposite side of the state. So your appointment's in 3 weeks if you ever have a problem.
Right, but now with the internet, and broadband being so widely available, and the tools to take advantage of the broadband services that are now available, you don't need to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment.
And I guess that's what we are trying to point out, is that this is only going to get better. You know, just a couple of years ago, the national standard was like 6 megabits per second. Nowadays, it's like 15 megabits per second after just a couple of years. And of course, that's just going to continue to improve.
Yes, it will.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you were talking about ISDN, and I remember the old ISDN lines, and I used to work in terrestrial radio, WXTK on Cape Cod,
Okay.
and this was back in the '90s, and we used to get our overnight news from another source near Boston, and we used to communicate over the ISDN line, so.
Yeah, although I had to say that it was very reliable, but toward the latter part of when we finally decided to discontinue using ISDN, I mean, it had come down to like one guy in the West Coast office was in charge of that, and you could never get a hold of these people from the phone company, to get the subscriber line put in, and it was a big deal, and it got to the point where I think most radio broadcast stations just don't use it anymore. I mean, there's so many other standards that are out there now, all using the internet, by the way. So if you have a decent amount of broadband, you can do a radio broadcast, even a TV show from just about anywhere you want to do it. So, with a minimal amount of equipment. That's how the industry has changed, thanks to the internet. Well, exactly.
Is that the people have the power, and if I've seen many of them that they make video after video after video of something that they're passionate about, be it woodworking, be it trains, be it dinosaurs, be it whatever it is. I think there's a guy who spends all of his time shooting rockets, and he just had a video go viral where he shot his own socks off, and and all it takes is just that one video to go viral, and and people to notice you that, hey, you are doing something entertaining and worth watching. And that's the dream of stardom isn't just LA anymore.
There are shows that are based on other people's. Tosh.0 started pretty much all of his stuff is commentary on other people's.
Tosh.0 was a ripoff of Web Soup, I think. Yeah, it was called.
Yeah, and now there's another one on TV that we watch, and it's just a bunch of people sitting around the room with their computer monitors.
But Craig. That's new media actually ripping off the internet. That's that's old media ripping off new media. That's a television show reacting to YouTube videos, which I think is pretty lazy, but
Well, there are YouTube videos of people reacting to YouTube videos.
Where does it all end?
Well, the Fine Brothers tried to actually trademark the word react in terms of YouTube videos.
I remember that. Yeah.
It didn't work. They got a big bleep storm from it, but
they did. Funny enough, one person kind of at the center of it was the video game attorney who we've actually had on the show before.
Yes.
And we had him on talking about I think swatting. I think that's what we had him on for. But yeah. It happens.
It does, yeah. That's such a terrible thing, though. The swatting phenomenon. Haven't heard about it in a while. Hopefully, it's fading away.
Yeah, I think after they lock a few kids up for 30 years for swatting people.
Yeah.
It kind of goes by the wayside.
I think it's gotten to the point now where enough people have been caught doing it that they're just not taking the chance anymore.
Right.
So what's next for Particle?
Oh, Well, I'm
asking the hard questions.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to get a device that will allow me to let's play my Wii, and then I want to do a series, a retro series, Mario Kart through the years, and just let's play all the Mario Kart games in sequence, starting from Super Mario Kart all the way to Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 7 is going to be difficult.
Is that bad? I haven't played Mario Kart since
it's going to be
64.
difficult because that's the 3DS version.
Oh,
I currently do not have a way to hook up a 3DS to the computer. That one I'm going to have to do some camera tricks on.
For sure, for sure.
There's ways of doing everything. There are ways to figure things out. By the way, Mike Peter from the IRN Radio Network had some nice things to say about you too. I didn't realize you're on that network, so that's.
Who?
He's
Mike Peter?
Yeah.
Mike Peter, the general manager of IRN.
Had some nice things to say about Particle. So I was surprised. He said, "Oh, you're gonna have her on?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh," and he had some nice things to say about you as well. Basically, so that's what's next in the can for you. Okay, is Mario Brothers.
Well, it's coming.
Okay.
Once I can get that developed. I mean, right now on my Let's Play channel, I'm doing Undertale. Yes, I'm fine. Yeah, I know I'm late, but I'm finally jumping on the Undertale bandwagon. And as for I Got Game, those of you listening on IRN, you can listen Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern. The next game I'm going to focus on is going to be Rocket League.
I've heard enough about that I think everyone who plays it sober wishes they were drunk, and everyone who plays it drunk plays it the same. So, yeah.
Of course, a good nickname for that game is Car Soccer.
Right.
And yes, I have the Back to the Future DLC.
Oh, very nice.
Well, as a big fan of Back to the Future, I kind of had to.
Wow. Cross promotion is always a good thing. I was just watching the Tonight Show with the Late Show with
Colbert.
Colbert, yeah, exactly. He had John Oliver on, and
but they're friends.
Hosting hosts, promoting their own shows and everything. But it's just.
But we DJ Parkle, thank you for joining us. I mean this was a very, very fun interview.
Absolutely.
Definitely gaming related, so Gamer Tuesday fits right in. But but this was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And maybe and on your show you should mention that you could hear it. You were on Computer America. Who knows? Okay.
Well, earlier this morning, I kind of spammed my Facebook and Twitter saying, "Hey, catch me on Computer America."
All right.
Way you tune in.
Well, listen. The best of luck to you and your endeavors, and certainly we'll stay in touch. And again, if you have something that we want our listeners to know, because we are a computer-centric audience, but if something comes up, we'd certainly like to have you back on the show. Okay?
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for having me today, too.
All right, Particle. Listen, thank you so much for being here on Computer America. You have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much, Craig.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye you too, Ben.
Bye.
All right, there you go. Again, DJ Particle, and again, you can listen to her on the IRN Radio Network or the TuneIn Radio Network, I believe, also carries us.
Absolutely.
At ComputerAmerica.com. Do we have time to do a couple of news stories? I don't know.
I think our friends over at Slimmer Utilities would love to us to squeeze a few in.
Let's do it. Let's do some computer news. Today's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. That's slimwareutilities.com.
All right, and I guess you want me to,
let's do
the story. So let's go with this first one, and we were just talking about graphics cards, and because this is gaming, this is probably the highest costing GPU I've seen yet.
Wow.
And it's coming from AMD. Although it's cheating a little bit, but let's fudge the details. So, Maximum PC, AMD reveals $1,500 GPU.
Ooh.
Dual GPU.
Wow.
It's a Pro Duo for VR content creators. And yeah, so for $1,500, it's kind of a one-rig setup, so it's all in one case. But, hey, two different ones. So AMD has...
How does this compare with your Titan X?
I'm pretty sure this would be a little bit faster because, like I said, you get pretty comparable performance for two of the higher-end, models of let's say NVIDIA compared to the Titan X. Like the GTX 970i, set up in a RAID, is RAID only memory, or is RAID graphics cards?
No, no.
RAID's only memory, right?
Hard drive storage too.
Yeah, no. But anyways, two set up in the same computer have comparable performance to a Titan X. So
Okay.
this is actually taking like the next graphics card above that and essentially combining to be even more powerful than a Titan X.
I see.
But of course, you're paying even a premium for that.
Mhm.
So the Radeon Pro Duo is a power-hungry card. It requires an 8-pin, four 8-pin PCI-E power connectors.
Wow.
It takes about 450 watts of power.
Wow.
It's crazy. And plus, there's 75.
You need a huge power supply for that.
Oh, huge. And of course, there's 75 watt available for the PCIe slot. And of course, unofficially, the Duo could consume up to 125 watts. Most people walk out of the store with about a 600 watt power supply, in a desktop, and this thing would, the graphics card alone would suck that up.
Yeah, it would.
So yeah, so this will depend on the clock speed and how aggressively AMD chooses to throttle the GPUs. And of course, the hardware standpoint, it's a closed-loop liquid cooling solution with a 120 millimeter radiator, and AMD says that it's more than sufficient cooling for maximum performance while staying quiet. So this is the first solution in what AMD is now calling its VR Ready Creator line. So of course, combined with this Liquid VR SDK, which is something developer kit.
Software developer kit. Yeah.
There we go. AMD envisions developers running this with a dual GPU solution to create high-end VR solutions. And of course, as I said, $1,500.
16 capable of 16 teraflops.
Yeah, it's
performance. That's a monster.
It's we say high-end. This is for content creators, not just consumers of virtual reality. And as we've been saying on the show for the past couple weeks, people are going to have to start getting their computers ready to run VR content. This is for creating VR content. So just like how the average home user doesn't have the equipment to make a Hollywood blockbuster, but you do have your high-tech Blu-ray or your huge television. This is for creating that kind of content. So
why am I looking at a picture of Lee Sedol with his hand up to his forehead, with his grievous look? I actually have a recording of him here right here.
That's not what he sounds like. That gentleman is Korean. He wouldn't sound like that. He wouldn't sound like Wilhelm.
Yeah, Google's DeepMind AlphaGo finished his final tournament match with a win. It was a close fifth matchup. We've been following this game after game, but evidently, according to this thing, after a close final match, Google's AlphaGo has defeated world champion Lee Sedol in Google's DeepMind's Go tournament. This leaves the final tournament score at 4-1 in favor of AlphaGo. The overall outcome was decided during the third match, when AlphaGo won the 3 required matches consecutively. However, all 5 games were set to be played. There's some commentary. It's really difficult to see where Sedol went wrong. Look at that picture. That poor guy. I mean, he's got his hand up to his forehead. Is that the image of dejection, rejection? I don't know. He just so sad looking there.
Again, it's not even that. I mean, he lost, but at the same time, I think a lot of people are excited because what I've been hearing about the Go community. First of all, the Go community is super excited because it's always been that niche. It's like, oh, look, it's that Asian game that Asians play in Asian movies, and it's like, oh, it's always that niche game that people really don't pay attention to. But with this tournament, the Go community is really hoping that this is what launches Go to be a global game, because it's really not played outside of China, Japan, Korea, or Taiwan, what have you. They're hoping that this sparks interest in at least the Western world, which I think it might, because this was very, very exciting to watch, and a lot of people tuned in just to watch the matches and learn about it. But the Go community is also excited because they get to learn from the computer. They get to learn why the computer is doing what it's doing. Like, to them, this is an entirely new way to play Go.
Yes,
and it opens up an entirely new set of strategies that humans really don't think of. This is completely computer generated, and it's different than what any humans have come up with before.
Of course, machines think differently than humans do. Alan Turing, same thing, right? All the great minds that deal with artificial intelligence, say that can machines think? Well, yes, they can, but they think differently than we. They don't think like us.
So it's when they think
better. I mean, it's just different, and evidently in this case, it is better than how we think.
Well, it's when they think differently, and then we put them to the same task that we've been doing for years upon years. I mean, there was a radio antenna that was supposed to be super steady, and humans had it set up kind of straight and kind of bent, and they're like, oh, this gives us the best thing, and then they put it through a computer model, and the computer model came out with this weird twisted, bent, interlocking wire antenna.
I remember that.
And they're like, the computer says this is the mathematical best antenna that could possibly be made, and humans would have never made that.
Yeah, and it was. Hey, listen, anybody's watched the Terminator movie? They rescue the chip. He says from the Terminator from the future. He says, hey, it sent us in directions that we never would have thought of. Basically.
Yep.
Machines designing machines. It's all coming down to that. Hey, listen, we're out of time. I want to thank our guest again, DJ Particle, who appeared in the second hour of the show. Thanks to her, and of course in the first hour, ViewSonic. We had the product marketing manager, Victor Lamb. Thanks to them for being with us. Coming up on tomorrow's show, what do we got? Oh, we've got two. We have Tech 50. Remember Tech 50 Plus, the newsletter? We're going to have them back on the show again. Gary Kay is the founder and chief content officer for Tech 50 Plus. We're going to be talking about some of the stories that they have that they're featuring on tomorrow's show, and he's going to be with us in the first hour. And then in the second hour, we'll have time to do some more computer and technology news. That, of course, being brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Again, hey, thanks to all of you for being with us here on the show. It was a lot of fun, and Ben and I are going to see you here, same time, same channel.
All right.
All right. So that wraps it up. So until tomorrow afternoon, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Woohoo! He's excited too.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Again, thanks to all of you watching the behind-the-scene video, and Ben will see you here tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.